Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another great epic episode of Just My Opinion Reviews, where we are talking 40 acres. If you haven't seen it, this is going to be spoiler filled. In a post apocalyptic world with food scarcity, a black family of Canadian farmers descended from American Civil War migrants defend their homestead against cannibals trying to seize their resources. Kim, as soon as I saw the trailer for this film a number of months ago, I was super duper excited, knew I was going to cover it. Now, here we are. What did you think about the movie? What did you think about the film?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it, loved it, loved it. Around the time I saw the trailer, I don't know, it was definitely after the movie Civil War came out, but I was thinking this is a popular theme nowadays of the whole what if? What if it's about to go down? Can you grow food? Can you protect your land? What if? I'm seeing these movies a lot. Um, this was spectacular, and I'm so excited to see Danielle Deadwyler um, have a lot of versatility. I'm really, really glad to see her in different roles. It was great. I love this.
Yeah, I loved it too. I knew it was going to be a banger. As soon as I heard of it, as soon as I saw the trailer, I just knew it, and I'm 100% right. I really did enjoy this film. I don't have any complaints. I wish that we had more films like this. Also, this just let me know if you do agree or disagree. I think that Danielle Deadwyler will be great casted as Storm in Marvel, the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think she would be perfect. And so you guys can let me know in the comment section whether you agree or disagree. But did this movie make you uncomfortable at all? Was it unsettling, or was you kind of just at the edge of your seat shoving the popcorn in your face because you was having such a great time? And one of the reasons why I ask you that is the way it started out. I mean,
Oh,
this is a great intro with the information of 14 years ago. 98% of the animal biosphere disappeared. 12 years ago, civil war broke out. 11 years ago, famine spread across the world, and it opens with action, kick-ass action.
yeah.
We have children. I can't even talk. Babies killing men and really have no remorse. And I'm just like, whoa, what are we getting into? Or is this exactly what the doctor ordered? Is like, because this is necessary for survival. Like, what did you think about the opening?
Man, I wasn't sure if it was going to open in that way of kind of giving a montage of like the famine, the Civil War, but I was like, okay, okay. Headshot.
Yeah,
Okay, off to the races. Another headshot. Here we go. They hit him with the headshots real quick. And those kids were like, whew, that was a tough day. Anyway, how are the potatoes?
yeah,
Like they were just over it. Like this is the life. And I like that this story didn't take place at like, okay, it's the beginning of this war, of this famine. It was well into life after it all crumbles and well adjusted because those kids, I mean, if everything jumped off 14 years ago, those kids were toddlers, if not even born yet, especially the
correct,
little one.
correct.
So this is all they know. And you could tell, especially when the son, Emmanuel, even though he was kind of in the beginning stages of becoming a young man, that brother was not in the beginning stages of becoming a killer. I will tell you that.
Yeah.
He was well experienced at taking headshots.
Definitely, and just the way they went about it, I liked how efficient they were. Very resourceful. Didn't waste, a string of yarn. I mean, everything was at their disposal. And when one of the daughters was about to take him out from the upstairs bedroom, she was like, "I got him," but Manny, went and chased him down, body slammed her. Actually, body slams her to the ground and didn't use a gun or anything like that. Just used this blade to take her out. And he thought it was a man or assumed that it was a man. And I don't know, that just really stood out to me. Of if they're trying to survive, if they're trying to be safe, you would think to get rid of the enemy as fast and as swift as you can. But no, that's not the case. They want to get physical and save and conserve bullets. Even one of the babies, when she laid on the ground and shot up, I thought, I mean, this is a child. I don't even think older than 10 years old. And
She
Haley
got that
wants
special
her.
forces energy.
Yeah, she's like, "Here's a blade. What did I tell you about wasting bullets?" And I thought that was interesting. But one of the things I noticed is the difference in the reaction of them realizing that it was a woman in the cloaks, and also that they were still alive. Manny did what he had to do, but he was held back a little bit. You know, he was shook, like, whoa, you know, am I gonna have to kill this person straight up? You know, man, I was gonna say man to man, but man to woman, face to face. And he
Yep.
wasn't 100% comfortable with it. But the two younger girls were making light of it, like, oh, you know, she's still alive, you know, and like you said, how are the potatoes doing? You know, like
Yep.
she treated it like, oh, there's a butterfly flying, you know, this is cute, but it's a
And they got right back to their day too. They were
yeah.
unbothered. They were like, more people trying to get at this corn over here anyway. Like I was like, we are very used to this. But I think also this young man is like a woman.
Yeah.
Yay. Like poor guy. He's only surrounded by sisters and mom, and he's just at the age where he's interested in the opposite sex. So for him, he's like, I could save her. I could be the valiant guy. Like, we could maybe make her part of her home. Like, I saw that
Yeah.
in his eyes, and it didn't make sense until later till I realized just how isolated their society was. But this guy, he was kind of, I don't know. There was a lot of humanity in the way he looked at her.
This is true. I didn't even think about that till now. I'm thinking he was just looking at her, you know, because he didn't want to execute her and thought it was a bit too cold blooded, and you know, was wanting to uphold humanity in some type of way. But you're saying that he was looking at her like that as well, because it's like, oh, hey, a woman. I mean, he was looking at her like a woman, but not, you know, in that way. I didn't pick that up until
And I
later.
don't think he was like, ooh, a sexual object. I think he was like longing for relationship, longing for like, there I just noticed a longing in his face when he
Yeah.
looked at her. It wasn't just like, "Oh, no, this is a woman." It was like the idea of possibility was in his eyes. Like maybe we could, and his mom's like, "Why w- get it done? What are we
Yeah.
waiting on?" You
I-
know?
Is this a world that you think you can survive in if this happened, or are you
Man,
ready to give up and just like, you know what, I'm gonna be with the Lord right now? Boom! This is too much for me to handle. People are eating people, and what
First of
you
all, I
can
ain't getting
do it.
left behind. I won't be here when it gets to that point. But I was feeling like, I don't know if you've ever played Teams with your friends, but I used to play it growing up, and it's kind of a funny game. It's kind of like, okay, if a zombie apocalypse happens, you basically do like people watching, and you're like, girl, that guy over there with the really short shorts on, your team. Like it's kind of a game we've always been playing. It's called Teams, and or like you see someone out looking kind of crazy or looking like swole, and I'm like, ooh, my team, my team. I've been playing that game with my sisters like since I can remember, and now that there's more zombie stuff out, like the game is even funnier. But it's like who would be on your team during an apocalypse, and so I kind of think about that kind of stuff a lot. Low key, I'm not gonna lie, I am the doomsday preparer of the family.
Okay, I'm not
We
mad.
live in California, so I make everybody earthquake kits. I take old backpacks, I fill them with first aid stuff and food and da 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 and knives. And my sister's like, "Why is there a pocket knife?" I'm like, "Girl, I don't know about you, but that Johnson and Johnson shot was a little weird. Like it might make people a zombie. Like I don't know. Like you need a knife. Like I'm always thinking of that stuff. And so I immediately, one thing I loved about the world building was that they showed the isolation, but they also showed the distant community of it all. When her character was like had her friend that she speaks to over radio, and
Augusta.
they joke around and they jest. And so I'm like, okay, so a few things I picked up from this world is one, food is gone, but electricity is not. They had electricity.
Mm,
The obviously radios are great to have.
mhm.
But also when, I know we'll talk later when he stumbles upon some other people, there are sub communities everywhere. It's just about, are you trying to live or are you trying to kill? Are you trying to be a vegetarian? Or are you trying to be a people eater? Like,
Right,
you
right.
know, so I was very interested in that world, you know, but one thing for sure, my team,
Yeah.
she's on my team.
She was really anti-government as well, and accepting assistance from them, not too trusting of anybody, and they even had a network. The Flemings, they went down weeks ago, and
Yeah,
we kind of figured that out, of what was going on towards the end. But did she have a right to be that stern, in her position of just like, no, we're loners, we don't need nobody, don't know nobody need us, or did she go the opposite route? I mean, should she have gone the opposite route, or the route that she did at the end, where she took on extra people, like what Manny suggested? Like, how can we have a society when we don't, we're not working with people? What do you think about that?
it's a great question, Brandon. I think there's so many ways you can look at it as compassion. Like when those kids are older and she's gone, are they going to be so grateful for how they brought her up, or are they going to regret that she didn't reach out more? It was just like when they were burning the rotting food. They're like,
Mm.
we're burning food, and they're like, it's just going to rot. And they're like, yeah, we could have given it to people. But the difference is these young people, like, they're young and innocent, but not only did she live in the world before, but she was a soldier.
Right.
So she was on the front lines of the ugliness. She was on the front lines of the desperation. She was on the front lines of when opinionated people get pistols. She was on the front lines of what the government can do and how governments treat people. So she was on the front lines to see the ugliness of man. So it's kind of like when you go on vacation with someone that has been to active duty, they're going to be a little bit more like, why are you just asking that stranger to take your picture? That's not safe. They've seen
Yeah.
stuff that you haven't. It might not be as easy for them to just have fun and make new friends on vacation. They've seen the ugliness of the world. So I think she was preserving her family, and her compassion for humanity was reserved strictly for her family. And if you step foot on my property, you're going to get one in the head,
Yeah.
point blank, period. I'm not trying to talk to you, you
Right. Right.
know? So, yeah, there's a difference there. But like her friend that she met, gosh, what was her name? The character's name. She was kind enough to stop on the road and help her. So it's kind of like, well, what if
Oh,
you did that for
Augusta,
somebody else?
the white
Augusta.
chick, yeah, the
Yeah,
white
she's
chick,
like,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, that badass Marine chick. I loved her. I
Mhm.
really liked her character. But she could have driven by her and been like, whatever, But when stuff went down, she stopped and helped her, and that's how they made a friendship. So it's kind of one of those things where you compassionate for everyone or just your family, and there really isn't a wrong answer.
This is true. This is true, and it's a shame what happened to her. But I wanted to ask you, what did you think about Galen, Mr. Michael
Dude,
Gray?
Michael Greyeyes, he's one of those actors that we've been watching for years and years, and got to give this man his due, give him his flowers. I've watched his acting for many years. He's such a good actor, and I thought this part. I just imagine when he got this script, he was like, "Ooh, this is meaty. I like this." First of all, I like the casting of a Black family and a Native American family. I
Mhm,
really love that. I
mhm.
really thought that was beautiful. There's so much in common, about the cultures. There's so much shared history amongst those cultures, and I love seeing mixed couples because I really believe in one love. But I really liked the casting of African American and Indigenous. That was really beautiful to me.
What do you think their relationship was? Because I think the two of the girls were theirs, with the age. The oldest two weren't. I think there was one of each.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's probably obvious. Like, well, they slept together, Brandon. But was it just? Did you think the relationship continued? Do you think there was still a romantic thing, or it was just kind of just like,
Well,
okay,
she
we
referred to him
gotta,
as your stepdad.
right?
So
She,
you go over there and help your stepdad. Like she referred to Emmanuel, to her son, she referred to her husband as that's your stepdad and these are your sisters. Because I know like in apocalyptic things, we see a lot, like especially it reminded me a lot of Walking Dead in a little bit, like Rick and Daryl, they're brothers, even though they've only known each other 7 years. They're brothers. So it kind of at first I was like, is this a found family? Where it's like I had my kids, we stumbled upon your farm, you had your kids, and we're just really close platonic trying to survive in this world. But she did refer to him as like, go help your stepdad.
Right.
You miss your sister's thing. So they were married, and I'm sure in that time wasn't no wedding, you know.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, that was
So you-
officially the
o-
stepdad. So
okay. Right. I remember her saying. I remember him saying. No, I remember her saying stepdad, and you're going as far as saying that they're married. The only reason I was asking is because it did not seem like there was any type of romance or romantic chemistry between them since the beginning of the film. So I just wasn't sure. I didn't know if they just bear children together just because it was like, there's not too many people around. You're just here, I'm here, so let's just continue to be fruitful and multiply.
that's a great point you bring up, though.
I don't know. I mean, there was no like I don't remember seeing any back rubbing or just
I think when they were
just here
smoking,
and
I think
there.
they were smoking weed on the bench when the daughter was having her ceremony,
Maybe.
and they were
Okay.
kind of leaning on each other. But Brandon, you bring up a good point. And when society collapses, if and when, is that what the new family's going to look like? Look,
Yeah.
I don't love you, but there's 6 people left on earth, and we're gonna have to do something about it.
Right.
So,
Right.
I'm not in
Let's
love with
be
you,
clear about
but
this.
obviously this is just a numbers thing.
Right.
So I could be nice to you, like I'm not
Right.
in love with you. So I actually love that you brought that up because that might be what the new society looks like. We're just trying to populate, and even not just the world, but in the interest of this farm
Yeah.
to keep this going.
Yeah.
But that's a great
It's,
point you bring up about
yeah.
the society there.
It's because it's been over a decade. So
Mhm. Yep.
I don't know. I'm being I was gonna make a joke, but it may be inappropriate. But I'm it's a serious question that I want to know from the audience that you're watching. So let us know down in the comment section. Kim,
Hmm.
we're already eating nasty ass chitlins.
First of
Do
all you gotta do is get some hot sauce and bell peppers, and you're ready to
do you
go.
think that
A
you can
little bit of lemon juice.
eat human flesh to survive? And
Look, I've eaten at Arby's before, so I've come very
really,
close to eating
really,
human flesh.
don't be hating on art.
That
It's delicious.
ain't me.
But no, I'm not gonna ask you would you kill somebody, but let's just say that there was a body that hasn't rotten that didn't go rotten yet. You're like, damn, I ain't ate in 6 days or however long it takes. There's an ankle right there. You think you could do it?
I'd make a meal out of air.
Okay,
I would make
okay.
a meal out of air. I would make believe it would be, it would be like before I ate a person, it would be like that scene in Hook when they were just like, I'm eating a turkey leg.
I know, I
Ooh,
know.
I'm eating this. Yeah, I would make believe my way into a delirium before I ate a person.
I got. I'm glad to hear you
How
say.
about you?
I wouldn't be able to eat a person or flesh or anything like that. I would probably have to die and just be like, hey, my time is up. I can't go on anymore. I don't know. I
But
mean,
they
maybe
were pros at it because when they put old boy's hand down, I was like, is this some sort of crucifixion ritual? Like, why are you nailing his hand into the ground? But they're like, oh no, I just like my meat to stay out so I
yeah,
can
that's
eat it still. And I'm like, ah,
pretty disgusting. Pretty crazy.
yeah,
Something I would be really disappointed if we didn't mention. Something I really did like it was the score for this film. I thought it was freaking amazing.
very good.
At the very beginning, a lot of horns when it wasn't really a montage, but when we were getting the daily ritual, the daily routines at the
Yes.
beginning of Manny waking up, hitting the alarm clock, doing his boxing drills and steps and going up and under the rope and what they do in the field and the farm. I don't know exactly what type of horns it was, but it was simple, but catchy and just kind of was giving you the nice palette of this the world that they're living in. Get
Mhm.
used to it. This is where we are right now.
I liked it too.
I loved it. I loved it. What did you think about the music, the
I
composition?
liked it too. I liked it a lot. It was kind of like Bohemian Suspense, if I could give it a title.
That
I
sounds
liked it a lot. I liked it a lot.
yeah. The person's name is Todor Kabukov. I've never heard of that name
All
before. You
right.
familiar with Mr. Kabukov, and I'm assuming it's a man, and it is. It is. But great. Let me see. Aaron Pierre. I have not. Have you seen any of these other titles that he's been a part of? 40 Acres. I thought that said Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But dopeness. If you're watching this, sir, you did a hell.
Brother, I think, Brother is, yeah, that one with Aaron Pierre. No, I haven't, but sometimes the music does make me wanna watch other people's stuff. Like, I like what you're doing there, going through his filmography, because that is how I sometimes discover, some offbeat movies or some indies that didn't get a lot of publication. So I like that you were doing that. I like to do that too. Be like, what else have you composed? And get
Mhm.
into that, because the music really does, make the moment,
It
you
does.
know?
It
Mhm.
does. What did you think, about the direction, Mr. R.T. Thorne? You know,
Really
that
great.
yeah, I'm not too familiar with his work either.
I believe he's Canadian. Uh,
You are
I
right.
really, really enjoyed I one thing I liked about the directing was measuring intensity with the stillness of how they're living. Because there's not a lot of move, 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 go, go, go. It's not like they're in the army and there's generals over here yelling. It's so quiet. It's just the six of us or the seven of us. But also just managing the intensity and the pacing of the film. That it needed a really good balance. And I really liked that because there were points where I'm like, is this slowing down? And I was like, no. Ooh, this is interesting. Like, it's like I really like that. But also his directing with Danielle Deadwyler, like one thing I think we've learned, really as she's blossomed in her career, is homegirl can bring the intensity. She's intense. And this is already an intense situation,
Mhm.
but like being that she had military background, it was hard for her to find her softness as a mother. And so I think his direction of her was very good because you got that she's not no secretary in the army, y'all. This is
Right.
active duty. She's seen it. You can tell in her face and her body that she's seen it and the way she fights. And so I think his directing of her managing that with the softness of trying to be a mother and trying to, she had a lot of black mom moments that I loved. I was like, "Yep, been snatched up like that before."
Yeah.
But I thought directing a woman that has so much range and can be so incredibly fantastic, that's where directing pairing goes well. That's why you see relationships like Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, and you see these amazing directors, they Martin Scorsese that work with them all the time. It's knowing how to move that vehicle. Because we've all seen it where great actors and the movie was like, what was off? Like this is a good actor. Like what was missing? So it's knowing how to play that instrument, if you will. And I thought as she's blooming, and we're gonna see her getting awards and awards and awards. And she has been, overlooked for awards, which is a shame.
Yeah.
But I think she's going to be one of those actresses that kind of follows the Viola Davises and what he did with her in showing her intensity and her softness was really brilliant, really, really good.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there, and she definitely has been overlooked for some awards. I was really disappointed she didn't even get nominated for Till.
That was
Uh,
a crime. I
yeah,
couldn't
and
believe it.
I did love the piano lesson, and she was great in The Heart of Their Fathers.
Oh, she was so good in the piano lesson.
Yeah,
That
yes,
whole movie getting overlooked, that's a whole nother video,
yes, these are
but
facts. These are
but Station I liked her in Station 11, but also on that note, I was really excited to see what's next for her because to be honest with you, when I first saw a poster for this and I saw her face and I saw 40 Acres, I initially thought like 40 Acres and a Mule,
Mhm.
and I initially thought like, okay, I don't want any race porn. Like I don't want to see what's happening on this farm? What is this about? Like, please don't be hunting her down and all this. So I really liked that it was just more of an interesting post-apocalyptic world that
Yeah.
she was put in.
And also that she kept the education going as well. She was like, I want you to read this. I want some book reports. And now you're talking
Yep.
mess. I want another book report, and I love the kids too. I mean, they were children, but they were very mature, very respectful, didn't complain, other than the girl at the one time just saying, I don't want this, I want some corn. I guess Manny did talk back a couple of times. For the most part, the children were very well behaved,
Mhm.
very respectful, and just, oh, we got to do homework. No, it was nothing like that. It's like, okay, yes, education. And then
Yeah.
sometimes it was interesting. It was like they were happy that they got punished. Like, yes, I got to do push-ups. That's just gonna make me stronger. So I love that. I
It's
mean,
the worldview that you have when the stuff hits the fan. Are you just gonna try to keep your kids happy and give them some games, or are you gonna be like, "Yes, go do some push-ups. You're gonna have to fight a man." Like,
yeah,
let's be real. Like how real are you? Are you shielding your kids? Like, for real though, like,
you said it.
homegirl knew, like, "Okay, do I wanna stand up and shoot this guy? Or you know what? Let me get a different vantage point and lay down and hide in the corn," and, like, I was like, that was a decision that young lady made to take
Yeah,
that vantage point and take that shot. So their tactical education is
on point.
quite
I
superb.
would not be surprised if that little girl could survive like for a couple of weeks by herself.
It's like that movie Hannah. Remember
I think
that
so.
movie Hannah with Eric Bana and Saoirse Ronan, where
I do. I think I
Homegirl was a freaking like I was like,
do.
what kind of child SEAL program are you enrolled in summer camp
They
for?
they were a unit that shot first, asked questions never.
Yeah.
I love that. I also really did like the makeup that was used to show all of her bruises and scars, and just kind of just getting
Mm,
beat up, especially when we saw her at the very end. Because I wasn't sure if she survived or not. She
me
took on like
neither.
4 or 5 guys, and she held her own. I mean, she's not a big woman. First, she freed herself in the cell by putting that one guy in some type of lock. Was able to shimmy the gun over there, shot the other guy, and then fought like 4 or 5 guys. That was very nice. The way they led me on, the direction of me not knowing whether she survived or not, and taking that big knife to the back and slice. That
Yeah,
was,
that's what I thought did her in. I thought she was a goner.
yeah, yeah. And the fact that Manny had to find her like that too, it was really, really, really effective. And also, I always complain when they try to throw in comedy in intense moments because it will kill the tension or the mood. That I like the comedy bit they put in there as well, where Manny's like, "Mom, we can't forget about them." She's like, "Boy, do you have to have a speech for everything? Get the kids."
Yeah,
I laughed my behind off with that right there.
that
So
was funny.
yeah, that was a nice piece of levity right there. But what else?
What'd you think of what the kind of twist with the girl? Like, did you initially think like,
Uh,
yeah, she really needs help, or were you thinking girls be lying all
girls
the time?
be lying all the time. We cannot trust some of
This
these
that
people.
song, "These Girls Ain't Loyal," kept going through my head as her mom was like, I love the line she gave when she said, "Boy, I'm a woman. She's got nothing to offer me but the truth."
Yeah, yeah. I did
Like,
like
I
that
know
as
she can
well.
get her little tail, get you all excited, but
Yeah,
I don't care. I
right.
thought I was like, "Ooh, mama's she's a shark."
Yeah. I mean, what position? I mean, like, what choice did she have? They kidnapped her grandma. I'm glad that she spoke up eventually. But it sucks. But at the same time, I don't blame her. At the same time, at the
I
same time,
don't
I don't
blame
blame
her, but also I
her.
thought it was a good lesson for the young man of like, and luckily she didn't lead him into getting eaten by a
Right,
group of people because as we saw with those bins, that's what they were doing.
right.
But I'm glad he was able to see like not every woman you see is an angel. And just because you saw her at the lake and now you're fantasizing about her and y'all are listening to some music and your mom caught you partying and
Right,
y'all catching a vibe on the
right.
farm. Okay. I was glad that he was able to see the real world, the lesson of the real world is that you don't get to be Prince Charming to everyone. She lied to you. And
This is
while she lied for a real reason, and for a second, I was like, oh, these girls ain't loyal. Like I knew, oh, I thought a cannibal, she was gonna serve him up like you got served like on a platter. Like, but I was really glad to see that they still got to stay connected. But he was able to see people, how are other people, what are other people like? Mom, we need to get with other people, we need to have community. Okay, a part of that is discernment because not everybody is here for you.
right, right. Yeah, and so I can imagine someone saying that Haley was too strict, but I think it was necessary, and they had it down to like a disgusting science of hanging the bodies upside down to drain the blood so
Oh
they
my
don't
god.
rot faster. It's pretty gross. I wonder what happened to that little girl, the white girl that shot the other girl that ran off in that factory or whatever. But it's probably not like a big deal. Maybe she sprained her ankle and got eaten by a bear or something like that. But
Or a guy named Bear because they was eating people, but
what are your final thoughts, if any, about the film and moving forward with your rating overall too, if you have one?
9 out of 10. I think this was a great watch. I think, I had hoped it would have gotten a little bit more publicity.
Right.
I was hoping more people would know about the film, and I say as it comes to streaming, you guys, give this a watch as it comes to streaming. Not for the kiddos, it's violent, but I like that it was visceral because, like all these movies are, oh, Civil War, like a second Civil War, a third World War, like it's real. It's real. And but I really thought I love the casting. I love the two families. I love that they were using their indigenous language, by the way. I really want to say that I love seeing people's culture carry on. I think it's always beautiful. The casting, the Michael Greyeyes, he was a great counterpart to her because he kind of came with this maternal gentleness, and
Hmm.
she kind of took the hard ass, role. And so I like that they still got that warmth along with the discipline. That was a really good match. The director, I want to see more from him
Yes.
because I enjoyed the pacing. It kept me wondering, it kept me suspenseful, but I like that the film jumps off with like, okay, this is what we're in. I say definitely you guys give it a watch. It was really good. The kids were great actors. It was great acting all around. And I really like the original script that they didn't go with zombies or, I like that I can see that. I could see a fungus taking over, our grain and our crops and then having breakdown of a civil war. It was very practical, and actually quite realistic, and that's what I liked about it. So this was a great watch. If you didn't catch it in the theaters, which probably didn't, please catch it at home because it's worth it. Very good.
That was wonderful. I agree with you 100%. I'm really curious to see what the director does after this. And what I do appreciate about this film is when it can deliver, when I do have high expectations and those expectations are still met, especially the way it started off, too. Like you said, I thought that was freaking fantastic. And also, I didn't know how this was going to end. I really thought that Danielle Deadwyler's character passed away, and that would have been an accepting ending as well. But it was
What a
kind of like a bonus that we got to see her, walk down the stairs. I think she did a great job. She's the lead at this, black woman at that. So that just kind of makes me feel special. Without anything feeling forced or shoehorned. And I just like how unapologetic this film was as well. It was very bold and unafraid. Um, with the children killing and just the way they reacted to everything. And like you said, is realistic to me. I think I can see this happening. And just, for my historic roots and ancestors and, talking about slavery, I like that they gave those nods to history without also beating you over the head with it.
Mhm.
And so it was just a nice balance overall for this type of post-apocalyptic film. And if I were to give it a rating out of 1 out of 10, I would give it a 9 out of 10 as well. And so If you've seen this video up this, I mean, if I'm pretty sure you've seen the movie if you're watching it at this point, since this is a spoiler review. But if you just don't care about that and you're watching this anyway, listen to both of us and see the movie. I think you will have a grand old time if you do so. Make sure you subscribe to both of our channels. Kimberly's information is in the description box of this video, but this is what our channel looks like. So subscribe to hers, subscribe to mine. We will both really, really appreciate it. But until next time, we just want to thank you again for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that I'm B. Avery. That's Kimberly. Oh, no, that's Kimberly. And that's just our opinion. Peace out. We'll see you next time.